All righty. Well, hello, the Hood Talks podcast. Y'all gotta excuse me. I have somehow lost my voice. I don't know why. Maybe this crazy St. Louis weather, but I am here today and so happy on this first day of Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa to interview Miss Latanya. She's a Ferguson resident, and we're going to have a little quick interview about her business that she has. Um, but welcome, Latanya. Thanks for being here. If you want to just start by just giving us a little brief bio or description of your business and what you all do and how you are beneficial to the community.
Well, good morning, Miss Savannah. Thank you. It's an honor to be on your podcast, and I'm so impressed with you, and I just think this is awesome. People need to have this because we need to acknowledge what's going on in our community. We definitely need to have a platform to share, information, experiences, and to be heard. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, um, and just hoping that this year has enlightened a lot of people, and hoping and praying that 2021 will bring us much more success, prosperity,
Yes.
health, and wellness. That
Yes.
being said, I am Latanya. I've been a resident of Ferguson for over 20 years. I'm originally from Texas. I moved here because my husband lives here. I started Wellness Choice back in 2009, and that was because I noticed that a lot of children, parents, and teachers were dealing with a high stress level, and even the disciplinary actions that were being taken towards children weren't necessarily appropriate. And so we started focusing on what was going on with the children, why were they behaving that way, and what could we do. So we started looking at the lunch menus, and a lot of times the breakfast was not, didn't have any nutritional value. It had a lot of high sugar content. um, And then we also noticed the teachers and the parents, the stress level, and the common denominator was the nutrition. So we decided to meet up with the teachers and ask them, hey, what is it we can do to help? So we provided, of course, we had to discuss it with the superintendent um, and the parents on how we would incorporate that. So basically, we were like the grassroots. We talked to the teachers, the parents, and grandparents, because there are some grandparents who are actually raising their grandchildren, along with aunties and uncles who have taken in, their nieces and nephews for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And we focus on stress levels. So I have a team of massage therapists, physical therapists, pediatric nurses, retired educators from different states who have moved here to Missouri. And what's interesting is that most of them live in Ferguson, Florissant, and Hazelwood.
Okay.
So we decided to work together. We did workshops at Griffith Elementary School, which is in Ferguson, and we worked with Robin Witherspoon, who was the principal of Griffith at the time. And we would schedule workshops with the teachers on how to relax, um, different types of teas, things like that, that would work for them. My husband also became a room dad, where it allowed the teachers to take a break, and he would sit in, read to the students, or, have open discussions about, what they wanted to be in life, what they wanted to grow up to be.
Oh wow.
Um, so it was a community thing.
And this
It
was
was an investment for, our children, along
mhm.
with appreciating our educators.
Yes. I
Um,
think that sounds like an awesome thing. They should probably introduce back to schools because yeah, these teachers are
um,
overwhelmed, and yeah, if parents are willing to help, which we do need more of engaging the parents, it would be awesome to do something like that.
and
So
that's interesting that you would say that because we did get a lot of pushback from some of the parents because they didn't want to really be involved. They felt like it was too much work. They felt like
really,
eating healthy was expensive. And so it was just informing them that the most expensive part of eating unhealthy is becoming sick and going to the
hmm
doctor.
that's true.
So
It's true.
go ahead, invest in your health by purchasing the best food and doing the, I mean, we were doing meal preps before it was popular.
Hmm
So it was kind of like, well, prepare, your meals on the weekends or in the middle of the week and kind of stretch it out,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Um, and I'm guilty of it. Many times I would pick up my boys from school and we would go to Burger King,
hmm
especially like, ooh, I think like on Tuesdays, they would have like family night
hmm
where where they would have the prices really low. So yeah, so a lot of these fast food restaurants, they knew what they were doing.
Right.
Like, well, we're gonna get them in there. We're gonna get their money. We're gonna make sure that we build up our clientele, even though the food is not healthy.
And
But
then
it
I
was
think that's a lot of what it is. That sometimes it's convenient for people to go and get those quick things, and they're not thinking about how it affects them or their children. So I think with society, what it is we need to switch and make getting things that's healthier a faster situation. Like especially in our black neighborhoods, we don't have like little pop up smoothie shops, and we don't have a lot of them. You know what I mean? Or that little cafes that's selling healthy food items. We don't have a lot of those. And so maybe if we did, people would have better access to easier, quick, healthier foods. Because sometimes it is convenient to go somewhere like a fast food restaurant when you have so much on your plate, like you're working 2 or 3 jobs, you're a mom, single mom, full-time job, and you're a full-time mom taking care of your kids by yourself.
right.
Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like cooking tonight. I'm just gonna go. Sometimes you don't even feel like going to the grocery store to go buy the healthy foods. So it is a lot to it takes a lot of sacrifices, and I think we gotta keep having these conversations about how to eat healthy, but how do we also make it easier access for those people who don't have a lot of resources or a lot of options other than what they're giving or their circumstances.
Mhm.
It's sometimes hard.
Right.
I think, right, like you're saying, workshops, educating the people and talking to them and having conversations like what your organization and your business was doing and, continue to do is definitely something that we have to keep having and investing in. Because some people just don't know either. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like
That's
some people
true.
weren't taught to properly cook or the proper items to get or use or eat. So having those conversations and having that that information accessible to the people is definitely needed.
And that's a good point. A lot of times families aren't given the right tools. They're a creature of habit. It's like, well, my mom did it, my grandmother did it, my auntie did it. So I'm okay,
Right,
so I can do it. I'm do it with my children too.
right,
And it's like, well, don't you want to do something different? Do you want to, think outside the box? Introduce your children to something that you always wanted to try, but maybe your mom or auntie or dad couldn't afford,
right.
and I
hmm
just remember doing that with my boys. We would go to different places and it's like, okay, pick out something you would like to try. And, just make it like a little field trip, once a month. I
hmm
mean, if you could splurge to go get your nails done, and I know that's a whole nother subject, but it's a priority. Your health is a priority,
It definitely
you
should be
know.
because nobody's gonna
Um,
take care of yourself you better than you. And then
Exactly.
you have to be healthy for your children. So it definitely should be a priority. Yes. But
Yeah.
it comes with self love too. So we got to talk. That's like I said,
Ooh,
whole another different subject.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
I
why this
mean,
podcast is here, because
I
we
know
can
it
build some
just
people's self
it's
esteem.
it
It,
connects.
it does.
Everything, all this is a connection,
It does. And
and
honestly, as personally, it's I'm still dealing with a lot of those things myself. So I understand to just be in the norm of every day, and then to try to do better and want to do better, especially when you start finding yourself and loving yourself. You're like, okay, I can't keep treating myself like this. I have to do something better. And I have children to live for, so I have to do something better. And it's not easy. So I understand people like, well, they just no, it's not easy. I get it, but like you said, we have to make it a priority because ain't nobody gonna take care of us. And like you said, being unhealthy is more expensive than the food that you're going to eat. You know, it is definitely hospital bills and health care is not
oh
accessible like it
yeah,
should be. So right, and then why we're dying because of this COVID is because of the things that we're not putting in our body, how we're not treating our body well, and all the stress on top of that. That comes with wellness too, being stressed with the everyday things that we have to deal with as Black people. You know, so taking care of yourself should be a big priority. Um,
exactly. I
it,
mean, you said a mouthful because basically, you talk about the medical bills and the fact if you're sick and who's going to take care of your children, who's going to take care of you. So now you're dealing with mental stress, emotional stress on the children.
yes,
So it's like just constantly, it's just a revolving issue. And it just gets to a point where it's like, it's going to be explosive because your child is going to grow up thinking they're not going to have a childhood basically
right.
because they're thinking about their sick relative all the time, and for some they end up skipping school or not even attending school or lacking in their studies because they have to take care of the household.
Yeah,
And
right,
we've heard stories like that.
right. Yeah, that's true.
And it's not something that happened not just 50, 60 years ago where you hear about your grandparent or, I had to drop out of school when I was 13 so I can pick cotton or whatever. No, you have teens now, young people now that's not attending school because it's like, I think it's like a hardship
Mm,
employment or something.
mm.
They can get when they're like 15, 14 or 15. I
And
heard
they
about a hardship employment permit where they
to work.
can start
You mean like
to work.
working? I always say, yeah, you can get a permit to work it. Uh, I want to say was it was 15, I believe, because I worked when I was 15 at Six Flags. Your parents signed off. I started at Six Flags and I went to McDonald's. I went to Build a Bar. Like right as a teenager, working these jobs and going to
Yeah,
school.
but
But
I
yeah,
mean, but for some of them, it's not because they want to work so they can get a new pair of jeans.
it's because they
It's
have
actually
to.
to help
Yes,
the
their parents.
household. So
Hmm.
that's a stress,
That is. It is a
you
struggle.
know.
And so how some of these men or little boys grow up and then they're like turn into the street because they got to figure out how to make a quick buck. You know, they tired of seeing mama struggle and they like, look, I need to help my mama somehow. School ain't right. I can't focus on this right now. I need to help my mama. This ain't helping me right now. So yeah, that is true. It is
And
true.
I mean, we can just say nutrition is a part of it. We know it's more to it than that,
It's
but my
more
focus is the nutrition
nutrition.
and the stress level. Because even like with some of the teachers, their stress level was so high, they would react to their interaction with the students would be really harsh.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so I just
Yeah.
recall again, walking down the halls of the elementary school and hearing a teacher, and I probably shared this with you once before. She was going in on one of the students. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, what is going on? And I think I was on my way to my youngest son class to drop off, whatever it was. And I did like a step back and I was like, is everything okay? You know? And she was like, "Oh, everything's fine. Do you have a student in here?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "But the way you're interacting is not good because basically your energy level is going to determine your classroom. So if your students are disruptive or disrespectful, you started it. Even though they may have already had some issues going on when they came to the classroom, but you can definitely control the atmosphere of your classroom. So if you're screaming at them and calling them out their name,
Right.
it's like, how do you expect them to react?
Right.
The respect level is not even there anymore.
Mm-mm. Nope.
So, and
Yeah.
then, you have students from different backgrounds, different homes. Some students are not familiar with the screaming or calling
Yeah.
out the names. And then there's some students who hear that all the time. And they're
Right.
like, okay, well, I'm coming at you too. So
Right.
you don't even know who
Right.
you're dealing with.
Dealing with.
So, right.
And then to me, you don't know what kids are bringing from home to school. As in teachers, though, you don't know what they're dealing with at home, and then they're bringing it
Exactly.
to the school environment. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is definitely a tough situation, man, and it's real. It's happening really.
So,
Um,
Wellness Choice, we decided to bring in our team with the permission of, the principal to uh, set time aside to meet with, or they would sign up for these little workshops, and they were like half an hour, 30 minutes,
mhm.
and we did like a follow up, and it was really funny because one of the teachers said that her students complimented her on her,
Really?
yeah, her personality. They were like, Miss
Okay.
So and So, she was so nice and sweet. And it was like we thought maybe she was gonna leave us or something. It was like, wow. So
Really?
you thought she was being nice because she was moving to another school.
Like she trying to leave us.
Right.
She out of her. She. That's why she happy. she, she happy because
But
she about to get out.
out of the mouths of babes, I mean, they were being honest. It was like,
Right.
so you've been mean to them the whole semester.
And they like
But
this.
she was so nice and sweet to us. It was like, wow.
Like what happened? It's a whole
Right.
360. And kids know. They
Yeah,
pick up on
they
stuff.
know. They
Yeah.
knew something was different, and it was
Hmm.
like, okay, we're not used to this. So what's the change? What's
Right.
going on?
They don't. They definitely observe and figure out stuff. We don't give them the benefit of the. I mean, we don't give them the benefit of the doubt at all. It's like they get it. They do. They
Yeah.
get it sometimes better than we do.
Yeah, and again, that's what we talk about too, giving children a voice,
Hmm.
because they're well in tune with their spirit,
Yeah.
their intuition because they're so pure.
Yeah.
Even though they may have been exposed to a lot, they have not been tainted in a way where um, they can, how do you say it, where they have to rethink something like we
Hmm.
do,
Yeah.
to please other people.
Yeah.
They're still at that level where they're like, well, I really don't like that. I
Right.
don't want to do that, you
Right.
know.
Hmm.
But with the push of other people manipulating them, that's where it turns.
Yep. Hmm.
But when they're, like your babies, it's like they're gonna like, no, I don't like you, don't touch me. They're vocal, and that's
Yeah.
how they feel
Right.
because of that energy, whatever
Yeah. Uh,
that person is like, I don't want a part of that.
right.
you know and
Right.
it's not until they get older where someone is forcing them, oh, go ahead and hug uncle such and such, and you're like,
Hmm.
I don't want to. Go
Right.
ahead, he's family. And then there
Yeah.
you go, they're compromised, so now
Yep.
they're growing up thinking, well, I got to do it because it's going to
Because
make
he.
them happy,
Yep.
and that's not cool.
Hmm.
So
I definitely agree, and
yeah,
I
so we talk
definitely.
about that too in our wellness company. So
Okay.
but basically, our statement is the basic principles of faith. We empower, educate our clients, our neighbors, our families teachers and co-workers. We promote wellness for the mind, body, and the spirit. And we're serving families, empowering youth, promoting cultural diversity, creating healthy families, promoting wellness, and building family communities. And I talk about diversity only because it gives other races, nationalities, and people from other countries to understand that we're all the same. We all need the same thing. We all want to be well. We all want to have the resources so that we can live the life that we want to live, not
Mhm.
necessarily what society says, because
Right.
for me, I would just want to have a nice, comfortable home where I have my basic needs met. But for you, you may want to have the 5 bedroom home, 4.5 baths with a big backyard, so that your girls can, you know, not have to go to the park. You know what I
Right.
mean? Their
Right.
backyard is the park.
Right. Right.
So whatever uh, fits your need.
Right. Right.
So, and it's interesting because I was talking to my boys about that, yesterday on Christmas. I said, this year has really been interesting. And
Very.
it's also been a blessing too, because it has allowed a lot of people to reconnect with their families or discover some things that need to be addressed.
Let's say you make sure, to me this year has made me more humble, and
Yes.
grateful for the small things.
Yes.
Because
Definitely.
like being, like you said, having a home to go to, because some people are losing
Yes.
theirs. Having food that I can feed my children, because some people can't. They're deciding if they can pay the rent today or buy some food. So it definitely made me more humble and grateful for the little things.
Yeah.
Um, and man, it's just unbelievable what people are losing right now. And then, even with Christmas, I thought about, like, people bringing my babies gifts, and them having things to open. And I thought, like, it's been a heck of a year. So people to be able to even want to still give right now is
Hmm.
amazing to me, because I know people are losing things, or they're not getting what they normally get. So I'm like, to even want to give to other people, which is great. But thank you. I'm grateful for that.
Hmm.
And I was like, my kids don't know yet, but how blessed they are. And I hope to, instill that in them. Like, you have these things, but be grateful and know that you're blessed. So don't take it for granted.
No, not at all.
Yes, don't take those little things for granted. And just to be breathing, that alone. Do you hear me?
Amen.
That alone, if you
Amen.
ain't got nothing else to be thankful for, y'all, that you see or you are about to see another year, or just today, just today, because people are dying left to right. I cannot believe how much death I've noticed or seen or been around this year. It's unbelievable. Like, people die every day, but it's been a lot of death, and it's sad. So just to be able to breathe, uh,
Yeah.
is thank you. It's a
Right.
blessing. It is.
Even if you have a stopped up nose, you still
Even if
breathing.
you got, or you done lost your voice and you could
Right.
barely talk, because that's me right now. I'm pushing
Right.
through to barely talking, y'all, because I
Yeah.
feel like this is important, and this is
Hmm.
information that we need to get out. And like I said, I definitely want to highlight businesses that our organization is beneficial to our community, and wellness is a big thing. And your business is something that needs to be highlighted and needs to be supported. So on that note, I would like for you to give us information on how people can contact you, or get information about your businesses, or your business, should I say? So please.
Okay. We do have a website. It is called wellnesschoice.webs.com. It is in the process of being revamped from another local business person. She is a web designer. Um, and so I'm really happy to, support other businesses as well.
Yes.
Um, so it is called Wellness Choice webs. That's webs.com. And I think she's going to use the Wix platform or website. Um, but hopefully that will be done before 2021, because I know
2020.
she's working through the holiday.
Okay. Do you guys
And
have like an email address at all?
yes, my email address is Neely. That's Neely. R as in Robert, S as in Sam, V as in Victor, P as in Paul, the number 4 at live.com. That's live.com. That is my email address. If you would like to reach out to me to get more information, I am currently working on a program that is grant funded by the Missouri Foundation of Health, and it's called Healthy Black Pregnant Moms, Healthy Black Babies, and basically just giving information on nutritional information, meals, stress management, to end the infant mortality rate that is extremely high with Black families. And that's a whole nother subject because we definitely need to keep
Definitely.
an
That's
eye
so.
on health professionals
Mhm.
who are neglecting a lot of the Black moms.
Mhm. Yes.
I
That's
was recently talking with my husband about this. I think her name is Turlington. She was one of the models, one of the supermodels back in the 90s. Uh, Kristen Turlington, and she has an organization about Moms Matter. And
really
she
okay.
had this way back in 2010, I think.
Really
I
okay.
want to say her name is Christy Turlington.
Okay. I've not
And
heard.
she modeled with like Naomi Campbell and back in the 90s.
Okay.
But her her story is after she had her first baby,
Uh huh.
within an hour, she had postpartum hemorrhaging.
Mm,
And no one was even trying to uh, assist her. Now, this is a white female who is a millionaire.
wow.
Postpartum hemorrhaging after an hour of giving birth to her first baby. Now, that's crazy. So just imagine
That is crazy.
a
Right.
person of
Of color.
color.
Hmm. And what they have to endure. Hmm.
So her organization basically is raising money in third world countries, which I have my thoughts about that. I mean, you
Yeah.
have women here in America who are suffering. Um, I don't know.
Big time.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my comments limited on that.
No, you don't really have to. This is the Hood Talks platform, and we keep it
Well,
real and
yeah,
raw.
I mean, is it really even though that was a situation that occurred with you, how is it that you decided to have an organization to help women in other countries
When it happened in your country.
when it's happening in your country? So my mind always goes towards the financial benefit.
Mm,
Is it a huge tax write-off?
right.
You get a lot of donations, you travel over there.
Mm,
Um, I don't know if any of that funding is supporting the women here in the US.
right.
Um,
And that's probably
yeah.
something to be looked into, honestly. It is. But even to kind of stay on this subject for a minute, I just saw a story that KMOV, I think Channel 4 did, about a family. They provided some things to a family for Christmas. And the story was the, the man's sister had 4 kids, I believe. She was in labor. She had another little boy, and she ended up passing away.
Mm,
He took the kids in, and they were providing him and his wife and the children things for Christmas. But I watched that story, and it touched me because to think that you're giving birth to your child and you lose your life, and not only for that child to lose a parent, but the other ones that lost a parent.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
craziness. Like it was just an unbelievable story. Like, those kids don't have a mom, and they were in the room when she was, passing away and all of it. Like that touched me.
That's trauma.
It is very traumatizing.
That's trauma.
It is traumatizing. Yes, it is. And I'm sure I'm not. I want to say they said it was a bleeding situation, like you were saying. I want to say that, but whatever it is, yeah, come on, we have to do better. We definitely have to do better. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm
So
just,
that's why we support organizations and businesses like yours, who we need to highlight they are here for the community and their heart is in it, and it's not always for the profit of it. It's for the benefit of seeing your customers or your clients in a better situation.
yeah,
Um,
because we do a lot of volunteer work. I mean, the focus is making sure everyone is healthy,
mhm.
that they get what they need to be better. You know, we have volunteered with American Lung Association for years. The Science Center, the St. Louis Science Center, has sponsored us for years, where we gave out free information. We even gave free massage sessions, to try to release stress. Um, and even children, of course, we get the permission from the guardian and
Right.
parents,
Mhm.
and they're there the whole time. And we would give massage sessions to children who were having anxiety attacks because of school, or maybe issues of
Mhm.
being bullied.
Mhm.
And we would get follow-ups or testimonies from these parents and grandparents, like, oh my God, my child or my grandchild, they're doing so much better. They use those breathing methods you were talking about. And it's like that alone is worth more than any money you could put in on my table,
Mhm. Yes.
to know that a
Yes.
child is learning how to um, have a mechanism that works for them, so they can continue to strive and thrive throughout their day.
Yes. 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 That is.
And even just teaching them to be vocal.
Yes.
It's okay for you to tell on that person who's abusing you. I don't care how many threats I'm gonna get you, you know, on this what's the on the playground. Hell, tell
Right.
the teacher such and such
Yes.
say they're gonna beat me up on the playground. Can you
Yes.
be there?
Yes. Yes. Speak up for yourself.
Pick
Yes.
up for yourself.
I don't think we're instilling enough of that into our children. We're not telling them how they have the right to defend themselves and speak up for themselves. Well, that's
Right.
because we're adults and we don't feel like we have that either. So how can I tell a child something that I feel like I don't even have as an adult? You get my drift?
I do.
You
I
get what I'm
do.
saying? That's when we
Hmm.
go into talking about those generational curses. But yeah, as an adult, I don't feel like I can voice my opinion or to speak up for myself. But how do I tell you, a child, that you can do that? It's always stay in a child's place. So yes, 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 we have some things that we have in our community that we have to work on.
Hmm.
And so that's why, like I said, this is where I wanted to make sure that we put that information out there, that it's people out here that have businesses and organizations that you can utilize that can help you get better, help you become well, and support you in the things that you need, like you said, the basic necessities that a lot of us aren't getting met. But we're out here and we just need to know where we need to go sometimes. And so,
Also, wanted to let you know I have a workbook that I put together on
okay.
all the different information that I've kind of accumulated over the years that worked for me and my family. Uh,
Okay.
and I have counseled a few families in the St. Louis and Wentzville area, which is really interesting. I met them at a art and craft fair. And when I was interacting with the dad, the the wife was like, okay, what's up with this? And we were
Really?
just talking about what he was sharing with me about the interaction that he was having with his children and the this respect that was just overwhelming. And when it was all over, the man was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And he was like, "Can you just write that down for me?" And I wrote it down. And I said, "Hey, it worked for my family." And I said, "Every family is different, and every family has their trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, my family is not perfect. We
Right.
still have our battles, but we
As we
choose to
all,
pick,
nobody's perfect.
right, and we choose to
Nobody's
pick
perfect.
our
Well,
battles that we
yeah.
want to, go in on.
Hmm.
But I still have communication with, these this particular family, and it was all about communication, being open and honest, and you have to be consistent.
Yes.
So I do have a workbook that I have kind of given out to people. And then one person was like, "Oh man, Latanya, you really need to get this published. It needs to be out there." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, it's a lot of personal stuff in there." And they were like, "Well, that's what people want.
I
They
was
want
gonna
to know
say,
the real, they want to
yeah,
know the real story."
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh boy." And I think we've talked about it before. Some of it was church related.
Hmm. But
Girl,
yes,
because I'm a PK, you know what I'm saying? I'm a preacher's kid, so I've seen some stuff and heard some stuff. So
yeah,
I went
I
ahead
can
and put it in a book
imagine. I can
and
imagine.
reached out to a local publisher
Okay.
here in St. Louis, and she's editing the book now.
Okay.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be out, maybe in March.
Okay, then we're gonna have to do another segment and we're gonna have to
Yeah, because
promote that workbook. Yes, that's what's up. That is what's up. I'm glad to hear
oh
that.
boy,
Now, like I said, right, whatever we need to get people healthier and better and educated and empowered. That's what we working on.
yes,
That's the plan. Empowering our people. So
yes, definitely.
well, I am so grateful that you decided to be here. Any last words before we kind of end this little segment? Anything you want to say? Anything about the business you want to put out there that you want people to know? Just it's your floor.
Well, all I want to say is that, again, we talk about 2020. A lot of people at the beginning of the year was like, "Oh, this is the year of vision, clear vision," and it has been. There are some things that we have noticed and we ignored, but with the way things turned out, we couldn't ignore it anymore.
And yes,
And
yes.
so, if anything, how are you coming out of this year? Better or bitter?
Mm, I like that.
It
Better or
really,
better. I
yeah,
love it.
better or bitter, because I know for us, in our conversation, we're coming out better because, as you said before, you're more humble. And I know
Hmm.
for me, I know that the relationship I have with my family is secure. Even through all of the things that we've gone through, the disappointments, the confusion,
Hmm.
constantly asking why,
Hmm.
and it's like, well, why not?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
We it was time for us to make a change,
Mm,
and
yes.
you just been sitting there looking, getting comfortable,
Hmm.
making those comments like, whatever. I'm not. That's not. But it's like now you have so much time in your hands.
You
You're gonna
can
have to
make
do
it.
something.
You gonna
You have
have to
no
do
excuse. Right.
something.
You have no
You
excuses.
have to push through for something. Yeah, especially being at home and like right, even if you weren't doing anything in the community, I'm sure families came out stronger. And
Hmm.
even if that stronger was being like, oh, we together, but this ain't working for me, and you finally getting to see like this ain't working, let's part our ways. That's growth. You came
Yes.
out with something like, okay, let me drop this so I can move on to something that's bigger and better for me in 2021. So,
Exactly.
however, just know that whatever you're going through is going to get you to a better situation.
Exactly.
Especially if you put work with what they say, faith without work is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Put some work behind that faith, and you would not. The sky's the limit.
That's
Push through,
right.
y'all. Come through. Come through.
Thank you again, Shavana. I really appreciate you
No
inviting me to this. It was a
problem.
lot of fun.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm so glad we had this conversation. Y'all, again, excuse my voice and excuse the noise. Quarantine in the house with your people. Look, this is following around. Kids crying in the back. But that's real and raw.
That's
It's
real.
real and
That's
raw, okay?
real.
But now, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in to this special segment. Please share, share, share. We want to support our beautiful Black woman here. We want to support what she's doing for the community. So share this. And if you are a community or organization that's out there and you want to talk about how beneficial your business or organization is to the community, please get in touch with me, thehoodtalks@gmail.com. All right, y'all, we out. See you later.